How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys your weekly forecast of what the heck is going on in the universe. It is a beautiful Sunday, afternoon? Yeah, it's about 2 p.m. here. We're actually 1:53 here, Sunday, February 2018 on the 18th. This is your weekly forecast for the 18th to the 25th. Now, I know I'm in my car, and I've given up on doing forecasts and readings and videos outside. It's just too windy. I can't get the right light. It's too much. So, and I really like doing these from my car. I get, a nice little setup here. I'm in a little controlled, situation, so it's nice. I want to thank you guys all for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing to my channel. I appreciate every single one of you. Follow me on Twitter at WhiteLightCam or Super Astronomical, however you find it. Thank you for liking my Facebook, White Light Astrology, subscribing, all that stuff. I don't know what else to say about all that. But let's get into this week because I'm actually really excited about this week. It's like we had eclipse season where the eclipse season's always weird. It's always funky. We have these 2 weeks where, eclipse season's weird. It's like we have all these big dreams and aspirations that we work towards, and then during eclipse season, meaning, the second from the full moon eclipse to the new moon eclipse, the solar, the lunar, it's this weird, I like to call it like a purgatory. It's like everything around you is happening so fast, but you're like, I don't know what to perceive about this. I don't know what to do. But, it's like the exact opposite, after eclipse season, where it's like, I want things to go faster, but nothing's really happening. It's kind of like that kind of energy. But we're finally out of eclipse season. The sun just entered Pisces today. Mercury is now in Pisces. The moon is in Aries today. And that's kind of like a good start to how this week's really going to be about. I'd like to bring up the fact that this week is going to be weird, but it's going to be fun. Meaning, we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Neptune, Chiron, all in Pisces. This week we have Venus conjuncting Neptune. We have Mercury conjuncting Neptune. We have Jupiter trining all this stuff. However, we have Mars in Sagittarius not only squaring Venus, Sun, Mercury, Neptune, Chiron. However, we also have it trining Uranus this week. So to start off, Monday, we have the moon conjuncting Uranus. This moon conjunct Uranus with the moon in Aries right now, I think this is definitely going to be a lot more of a self-centered, self-focused moon. Definitely not so debilitating. Now that Mars is in Sagittarius, this is a lot more fun. This is a lot more interesting. We get to really develop our own sense of meaning and our own sense of belief and how we really identify with that and where we want to take action on that. So as Mars goes through Sagittarius, it's not really making the best aspects with anything. It's kind of squaring, Sun, Mercury, Venus. It's squaring Pisces. I'm just going to say Pisces rather than saying all those planets. But it's going to be trining Uranus later this week. But before we even get into that, this Mars and Sag energy is finally going to start charging up with this moon in Aries. So if you felt a little bit more excited, felt a little bit more, I guess just personally in your power, that's basically why with this moon in Aries. And as it conjuncts Uranus, this is the time to really go, okay, if you watch my videos for the past year, you understand how much I love when the moon conjuncts Uranus. It's like a whole self-liberation thing. It's a way to really achieve, I don't want to say achieve, but tap into that super conscious mindset of what we're capable of doing and really emotionally investing into that. And you could be a little bit hard on yourself, could be a little bit, it could be a struggle to not be so extreme with, either, oh, I'm going to go achieve all this stuff, or I'm going to feel this way and do this and this and that, or bringing yourself down. It could be a lot, but the biggest thing is about remaining in your strength and having that courage and that patience. That's the thing about Aries, that even though it's Mars ruled, it's very angry, it's very aggressive. You have to really find a way to patiently go about all that stuff. But it's going to be squaring Pluto. It's trining Mars on Monday. And then on Monday as well, we have Venus conjuncting Neptune, which is going to be trining Jupiter and squaring Mars. There's a lot to talk about with relationships right now. With Venus conjuncting Neptune, it's a little bit weird. With Venus and Pisces, we're really in this weird state where what we really value and what we're really wanting in relationships isn't necessarily, I don't want to say tangible, but it's confusing. It's, dreamy, it's mystical. It's offering this duality where we, do we want this or do we want that? It's either this or that way. We don't see any other side, but when you go into your, when you channel your higher self, I like to say channel your higher self because it's the best way to put it, as like, being your most authentic self, what you truly want, what your truest desires are, you being, you know, the way that you envision yourself, the way that you envision how your life's going to go. That's how I like to call your higher self, when everything is in an authentic and integral power, and everything is the way that you want it to. Which, don't get me wrong, life isn't going to always offer you that circumstance. However, there's many opportunities in different ways to create that circumstance in your life. And as Venus conjuncts Neptune, we got to really dive into the imagery and the overall, like, I guess, sensual experience that we really want. With Venus and Pisces, you know, what we're really valuing right now is changing. It's up for debate. It's, you know, what do we go based off our environment, or do we go based on our higher self? Is, you know, like, I hate to bring this up, but it's like this school shooting, you know, everyone's either picking one side, and it's either one side or the other, then everyone else is like, well, I don't even know what to do anymore. Well, you know, let's just, you know, over exaggerate and, you know, just fucking, let's have teachers have fucking guns. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. But the biggest thing with this Venus conjunct Neptune, though, is really you've got to start diving into your subconscious and that superconscious mindset. You know, what do you really dream about having? And are you willing to value, appreciate, and put in that love into that? And are you willing to believe that? This is Pisces. This is all about beliefs. I mean, it's Jupiter ruled, Neptune's right there. Pisces is all about that spirituality, you know, mysticism, illusion. You know, what do you really believe in? Are you willing to believe that love that you want to receive and that you want to have and that you want to give? Are you willing to believe that that's real? And are you going to get lost in the, you know, the chaos of it? Are you going to detach emotionally? Like, that's that Pisces energy of detachment, you know, drinking, doing drugs, you know, getting lost in your environment, not really being aware or conscious of what's going on in your surroundings? Or are you really going to dive into it and see what you can find and really experience what's going on around you? So keep that in mind. It's trining Jupiter, you know. Again, this is up Jupiter and Scorpio, all about our beliefs around sex, our beliefs around the deepest desires that we have, and our ultimate truth. It is squaring Mars, though, so again, and later on, throughout this week, everything's going to be squaring Mars. So it's okay that it may be hard to take initial action on that stuff. It may be really, it's like, you know, oh, I believe all this, I'm feeling all this, why can't I take action on it? It's because Mars in Sagittarius is really asking you to channel that higher self, not necessarily worry about how you're doing it, when it's going to happen, but just worry about doing it, just worrying about believing in it, and being in the right place at the right time is going to happen as long as you are focusing on what your higher authentic spiritual self is saying. And if you watch my videos, you know that I'm not really big on this super, you know, oh, you got to be meditating, you got to be channeling into, you know, your God energy and stuff like that. It's like, no, what this is really about is Mars in Sagittarius is, you know, we're wanting to explore, we're wanting to go, we're wanting to, you know, keep going forward and forward, but right now we got to really worry about what is around us at this moment. You know, it's kind of like you're on a road trip and you want to keep going for the next, you know, the next stop or the next point, but you haven't really checked out the town or the city that you're in. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of, you know, circumstances to really look into while you're there. And this is a good time to just really focus on what's going on around you. As the moon goes into Taurus on Tuesday, it's going to be trining Saturn. It's going to be sextiling the sun and the moon. This is a great time to get grounded in that sense of that Pisces energy. The moon in Taurus offers so much groundedness for Pisces. Same thing with Capricorn too. And as Saturn's sextiling all that stuff, that we have no bad aspects to Saturn right now. Again, we got to worry about what's the most efficient and effective way to create the results that we're looking for. With the sun and Mercury and Pisces, we're a little bit confused on how that really looks. But as the moon goes into Taurus, ground your emotions, focus on what's real, get yourself secure, get yourself stable, and apply that. Really apply that. Like, I wish I could exaggerate that, but just apply it, because then Jupiter's also quincunxing Uranus right now too. So with that Jupiter quincunxing Uranus aspect being involved, things are still a little bit funky with that Jupiter and Scorpio stuff, trining all of it. It's kind of like, okay, things are coming out of left and right field. It's still a little bit confusing. It's quincunxing Uranus, so it still has this sensitive issue towards us about, you know, that Uranus and Aries energy of that self-liberation, that self-empowerment stuff, the superconscious and all that whatnot. But Wednesday, the moon will then trine Saturn still, and Pluto, and it'll be sextiling Venus. This is when we get to ground ourselves in this Venusian, Pisces, Neptune energy, where we get to really, it's kind of, I guess the best way to put it is like, if you've ever done like an ayahuasca ceremony or a peyote ceremony, you're not going to go do it at like, you know, your friend's house or, you know, somewhere weird where there's a bunch of people. No, you're going to do it in your home environment. You're going to get comfortable, or you're going to do it in a very safe place. And this is what that moon in Taurus is offering. You got to allow yourself to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's how growth is going to work. That's the only way to change. So even though the moon in Taurus is kind of like you want control, it's hard for you to change, you can be a little bit stubborn, you know, just ground yourself in the way that you need to be and watch what you can discover, watch what you can explore, see what you can feel. This is what this week is about. Going into, and this is Wednesday too, with Venus conjuncting Neptune, it's still going to be squaring Mars, so it's like we're starting to see all this higher self, this intuitive, you know, emotions that are coming to us as it's squaring Mars. It's okay that we're not going. It's okay to stay still for a little while. Patience is a virtue. We've got to remain patient. We've got to remain focused. However, take a second and look around you and value that. Appreciate that. What does that mean to you? Is it exactly what you've, you know, created in your head? Is it exactly the way that you feel? You know, this is a good time of reflection of what's going on around you, whether or not you like it or not, or if it's tapped into yourself or not, or if it's more based on the people that are around you. Now, Wednesday, oh, my bad. I wanted to talk about this. Wednesday is when Mars trines Uranus. So, with that being said, we're going to have a lot easier time with this Mars in Sagittarius, because Mars in Sag hasn't really done any fun aspects, really. But as it starts to trine Uranus, the more and more we get into that self-empowerment aspect of like, okay, it's time to put us first. It's time to focus on me. It's time to start going. That's when that Mars in Sagittarius is going to kick in. It's about taking action on those beliefs. We're going to have so much exploration coming up with Venus conjuncting Neptune, and with Mercury and the Sun right there. All this emotional exploration, the spiritual exploration. It's time to start doing something with it and starting to take initiative on that Uranus and Aries energy again, of tapping into that super consciousness and tapping into what we're really capable of doing and just going for it. Mars in Sagittarius likes to wing it. Like, it's just like, all right, I'm not worried about anything else that's around me. I'm just worried about going and moving forward. And that's going to be really, 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 really good, especially as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because Thursday, Friday, Saturday is when we have a lot more difficult energy to work with. Thursday, Moon is going to square the Sun, it's going to oppose Jupiter, it's going to go into Gemini, and then Mars will start to square Chiron. So this is where we're going to start to really work on trusting the process. Trust the process. I made this example, I think like a week or two ago, with this Mars and Sag and all this Pisces energy. It's like we've had this whole plan to go on this big road trip to a place we've never been before, and it's not looking like the way that we want it to, and it's frustrating. It's like, you know, we've done all this work, we've, you know, paid all this money, we have all this gas, we made all these plans, and it's not what we imagined it to be. It's like if you've never been to California and you wanted to go to California in like August and October, and you're like, I was expecting green, beautiful hills, and it's all brown and ugly. It's like, well, you know, it's okay that it doesn't look the way that you expect it to, but you've got to realize what you're in. You've got to experience it. You've got to enjoy it while it's there. And as Mars starts to try and square Chiron, this is where that healing comes in. This is more of that, you know, there's going to be a lot more pain that comes with this, and this is that Chiron and Pisces stuff of understanding the depths of who we are and what is not, getting lost in our environment, getting lost in drugs and alcohol, and, you know, questioning our existence, questioning the meaning of life. This Mars squared Chiron is going to be, you know, kind of nasty, and you're going to find yourself taking actions that are a little bit, it's kind of like touching the hot stove over and over again. However, this is a great time to learn this lesson of, hey, we can be moving forward, and things aren't going to look the way that we pictured them to, the way that we want them to, and that's okay, because that's there for us to experience anyway. We're already there. You know, if you made all these plans to take this road trip, it wasn't exactly the way that you wanted it to be, why turn around? At least you made it this far, why go back? Keep going. Enjoy what you got. Find and value whatever it is that's around you that you do like, that you do value, and just keep moving forward. It's totally okay that it doesn't look the way that you want it to be. Just realize that you did it. Give yourself that acknowledgement. Then the moon will go into Gemini, or actually I want to talk about the moon in Taurus opposing Jupiter real quick. This is when we're going to get uncomfortable. because the moon in Taurus, again, we're like going to be grounding ourselves. It's going to be nice. And then the moon in Taurus is going to oppose Jupiter. And it's kind of like, oh, we have to let go of the control over the situation. You know, just like, you know what I was saying, if you're on that peyote trip and you're at, you know, a very comforting place, you got people like shamans that are taking care of you and stuff like that. You got to learn to let go of the control that you want over the situation. This Jupiter in Scorpio is asking us to really value, okay, what is the truth of this situation? Are we safe? Are we comfortable? Are we, you know, is this truly what we want? And if it's not what you want, you've got to let go of that that control and that stubbornness towards going, hey, you know, this may not be what I want, but I'm here, and I've got to find a way to enjoy it while I'm here. Then Friday, the moon will go into Gemini, and it will be squaring the Sun, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Chiron, and opposing Mars. This is when it's going to get a little bit frustrating, because we're going to want clear answers. We're going to want understanding. We're going to want communication. And it's just not going to happen. It's just not. We're going to want all these answers and these epiphanies and this, you know, we're going to want things to be clear. And all this Pisces energy isn't going to let us make it clear. Excuse me, I think I'm getting a cold or something. I keep coughing. But with all this Pisces energies, it's not going to be clear, and we just still have to trust the universe. We still have to trust the process. We still have to go with the flow. And even though the moon in Gemini is going to be squaring all this stuff, it's going to be emotionally frustrating and confusing, and it's going to be opposing Mars, where it's like, okay, I need more answers. I need, you know, like, are we leaving? Are we staying? Are we going? Where are we going? You're going to want all these answers to want to keep moving forward, and it's just not going to happen. If you go through that perspective, it's not going to work the way that you want it to. The way that it's going to work is if you trust this process, you just trust the universe, you take one step at a time, and you have your patience. It's all going to work out later on when you know, Venus goes through Aries and conjuncts Chiron and all that stuff. Excuse me, I'm so sorry for coughing. Then Saturday, moon sextiles Uranus, Mercury conjuncts Neptune, Venus conjuncts Chiron. That is when the healing begins. When that whole process of, oh man, I do need to trust the universe. Oh man, I do need to open up. Oh man, you know, I'm getting that understanding that I need. I'm getting that, what's the best way to put it? I guess the best way to put it is to understanding what you're going through by just realizing that it doesn't make sense, that it is a little bit weird, that it is a little bit funky, but the more and more that you channel that Mercury conjunct Neptune aspect of, you know, what are you thinking every single day? Are you thinking about your dreams? Are you still envisioning what exactly it is that you want? And even though you're valuing that so much with Venus conjunct Chiron right there, it's going to be a lot of healing being in place, because again, it's not going to look the way that we want it to, but this is such a great opportunity for us to heal with this, you know? Doesn't look the way that we want it to, and that's okay, because we're still going to trust the universe. We're still holding hands with God, as I like to say, and you know, he's walking us through this, and we're like, I don't know where we're going, you know, this doesn't make any sense. Just keep taking a step forward. Patience, patience, patience. We will get there when we get there. That's the best way to put it. And as the moon sextiles Uranus, there's going to be a whole download of information. It's going to be kind of overwhelming and a little bit ecstatic, so don't get too, I guess, crazy with it. Just take it as it comes. Take it as it comes and work through this week. And that's on Saturday. And then Sunday is when it will start to make a little bit more emotional sense, because the moon will go into Cancer. It'll start trining Sun, Neptune, Venus, Chiron, and it will be opposing Saturn, where it's like, okay, you're going to start getting a lot of that emotional nurturing and that clarity that we need from this Pisces energy. It's going to be downloaded into, you know, our guts, into our feelings. We're going to start to understand where we need to be nurtured, where we need to be taken care of in this situation. It's like, okay, I'm trusting the universe, I'm trusting the process, but what are my primal needs? Like, what do I need to take care of right now? And it's going to be opposing Saturn, so you can, you know, look at this as a very emotional way to handle things, or you can look at it as, well, it's opposing Saturn. If I needed to be nurtured and I need to trust this process, I got to do it in the most efficient and effective way possible that's going to create the results that I want, rather than getting too overwhelmed with my emotions. And then all of a sudden it's next week, and the next week, Venus goes into Aries, and then I think Jupiter goes retrograde next week. I don't remember exactly, so don't quote me on that, because I forgot to totally look that up. However, that's what this week is, guys. Kind of went a little bit over the time that I really usually like to go to, but this week is offering us so much closure, understanding, and future, I guess, a future vision, because it's kind of like these past couple weeks we've been really lost. It's been really hard. It's been fucking hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and pardon my French, but it's been really confusing, And, you know, this is a great opportunity to really let go and receive what the universe has to give us. And even though it doesn't look the way that we want it to, we've got to embrace it for what it is. We've got to understand it for what it is and come to that sense of closure, come to that sense of trust, and keep moving forward anyway. And that's what I got for you guys. So again, February 18th to the 25th, be prepared for a lot of receiving. Be prepared for, like I said, like that whole peyote reference, like, you receive a lot of information, a lot of emotional clarity and insight, and it is quite a process. So just hang in there this week, guys. We got a kick-ass spring coming up. I mean, kick-ass. When Chiron goes into Aries and Uranus goes into Taurus, like, oh, God, like, that just sounds amazing just saying that. So just give it this week. Just watch what happens to you this week. Watch where you go. And then come back to me next week. And if you're like, oh my God, I'm still going crazy, well, let's see what's going on in your chart then. But other than that, that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching me and supporting me, and, you know, just everything that you guys do, because I just started doing this, you know, just talking to a camera all by myself, and all of a sudden I got a bunch of people, you know, all around the world that really appreciate everything that I do, and I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So thank you again for watching all my videos, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. If you're interested in getting a reading from me, feel free to email me or DM me on any of my social medias. I love doing readings for you guys. So again, thank you guys so much, and I'll be seeing you next week.